was one movie that you took everybody's eyes in the whole world and placed on you, and that was Coming to America, where you had the role of Imani Izzy. Now, how excited were you to receive that role? And if I'm not mistaken, didn't you come back for the reboot? I'm calling it a reboot. I'm not sure people call it a reboot. That came
I
out a
come
couple of years
back
ago.
and I was very excited to get the role, but I was also disappointed first because I wanted the Lisa role. Everybody in town wanted Lisa. We all were auditioning for the Lisa role. I went in when I met the casting director. I read for Lisa first, and then she had me come back, and I met John Landis, and then John Landis said, "There's his other role," and he asked me to go out in the hallway real quick to look over and I knew because I read the script, so I knew when he said that there's this princess. I knew exactly what he was talking about. So internally, I was like, man, I want Lisa. But outwardly, I was like, okay, what you gonna say? No to John Landis. So I went out in the hallway and I had this paper, and I'm like, what? I'm bark like a dog. What? You know. So I was just the little voice in me said, Vanessa, just do it for real. Just do it. And that's when I learned a good lesson about comedy because I was serious. I was really trying to do it for real, and that's what made it funny. So that's what I learned. When you try to make comedy funny, it's not funny. But if you have a situation and it's a funny situation and you play it real, but it happens just to be a funny situation that you're in, then it's funny. But if you try to milk it up and make it funny, then it looks campy and kind of overboard.
And that's what I want to say, because I remember when I first saw the movie, and I've watched the movie quite a few times in my life. I'm 45, so I've seen the movie for a minute. Now, when that part came up, bark like a dog, your face looks like that you was not acting. Like you was like talking to someone that you knew really, even though you talking to Eddie at the time. You look like you brought reality into it.
Well,
Because you know
once
how
again,
some
I was,
people,
I was trying to do it for real. I wasn't trying to be funny. I was
right.
trying to really honor what he said. He said, and I said, whatever you like. Well, whatever, bark like a dog. Okay. I was trying to honor the reality that was in for this woman, her reality at that time.
So what was it like working with Eddie
Oh,
during that time?
Eddie was wonderful. I haven't seen him in a while, but I always like running into Eddie because he's always very kind when he sees me, and he's always very kind to my husband. But it was great. He was a huge star then. He's still a huge star, but he was like a huge star. So yeah, working with Eddie Murphy, yeah, I was like, I worked with Eddie Murphy, and I got to see with him. So yeah.